I've played it. I've impressioned it for the first time. Now we're on to some Flamecraft. I'm going to unbox this. This is not a deluxe version of the game. This is not like a Kickstarter copy of Flamecraft. This is a retail copy of Flamecraft, which is done in partnership between Cardboard Alchemy and Lucky Duck. And I'm going to check it out now. So, alrighty, boom. Flamecraft. Let's see what's going on. This is a worker placement game and resource collection game in which you are trying to grab your dragons, take them to different shops around town, and let's see. After you take them around town, you're going to take those resources and you're going to use them to get recipes. Is that really the term? That's probably not the right term. Are they recipes? Or are they like... Oh, it's so loud. It's so loud. Though I am happy that there's a space for that neoprene mat. Okay. Let me see what they're called. Let me see what they're called real quick. In the rule book. I'm going to see what they're called real quick in the rule book. Are they recipes? Enchantments. That's what they're called. They're enchantments for the shops. And they make the shops better in terms of the resources that they give dragons and players whenever they go there. So these are the different town shops locations. I think part of what makes Flamecraft so enchanting to people is the artwork. But for me, it's less actually the artwork, and it's more like the world building that it has. I love all of the different names for the stores, like Fogo de Char, Funky Brewsters, Oh My Gourd, Gnome Depot, Le Petit Dragon, Full Plate Buffet, like Hedges and Hinges, Saving Throw. There's so many references to different cultural things, like actual stores, or, you know, D&D with Saving Throw. Like, all of those are really, really clever, like world building and like lore build. Like, it creates a fun universe that you kind of like want to be a part of. Let's get a smaller bag. Sure, this is a small enough bag. So you can get regular dragons that match up with particular resources that you're gathering, and they have their own special abilities. You can also get fancy dragons, which frequently have either a one-time kind of like bonus thing that you're taking advantage of, or they have what I would call in-game scoring. Not what I would call. What everyone would call in-game scoring, because that's what it is. So, oh, it's got baggies in here. Are these baggies more to size? Wow, that's a lot of baggies. Oh, for all of the resources, Devin. Dur-dur-dur-dur. Dur-dur-dur-dur-dur. Okay, so I forgot that there was punch boards with this game, apparently. Man. These, like, shrink-wrapped ones are sometimes just not my friend. Not my friend. So you have fancy dragons, you have the regular dragons that you can get, and then you've got these enchantments that you go to. The thing that I enjoyed, I think, the most was figuring out the different combinations of shops that you can have. I liked the frequency of how different that's going to be every time you play. Because you have like starter shops that you kind of put out, and then you have everybody's player dragon boards. But then all of these are like unique shop locations, and I think that the amount of these that are different make it to where you can discover a lot of fun combinations between the game. So I think that I would probably want to start out games with the different asymmetric shops in there rather than kind of like the starter ones. But I also know that that's like not probably standard for a lot of people who would play the game. I think this is a very accessible title. This is a very accessible title. Like, it's very much going... Like, I can see why it did so well. Is this even in camera? This is in camera. Okay, cool. So, yeah, I definitely see why it did well. And, you know, like, the dragons are very much, like, desirable in terms of getting excited by those things in the game. And then the components, Peter Vaughn, who's like him and Brad are the ones that helm Cardboard Alchemy, and Peter Vaughn has been the developer of Flamecraft and then Mission Catastrophe and Dwellings of Eldervale, and then the new upcoming one that's what people are calling Dwellings of Eldervale in space, though I think there are quite a lot of substantial changes and nuances that make it not just that game. Anyways, all of that to say, Peter Vaughn is a master at making like deluxeified games. He just is so good at creating a product that you absolutely want to drool over. And that is 100% the case with the deluxe version of Flamecraft, because I think the most satisfying currency to like have in your hands in the world. Or do these fit in there? These do fit in there. Perfect. I think like the most satisfying currency to have in the world is like the British pound. I don't like coins. I don't like physical currency. I don't carry like cash and coins on me and stuff. But like the British pound is such a nice coin because it's like so thick. It feels so good. And the metal version of these Flamecraft coins is just like next level. Absolutely lovely. And so, yeah, Peter Vaughn. Whew. Peter Vaughn makes some desirable games. Desirable games. Now, is that me, saying that you need that? Absolutely not. You do not need that version of this game to enjoy it. But it is nice. It is nice. I mean, like, those metal coins are awesome. The little wooden pieces. If you're familiar with, the deluxe wood pieces from Dwellings of Eldervale, those make a return in this game. And it's kind of like the games that do it the most that I recognize are like Dwellings of Eldervale, Flamecraft, and then also the games from Burnt Island, both the Burnt Island games and then also the Kids Table board gaming line, that do really satisfying little custom shaped wood resource pieces. So they look really, really good in Flamecraft, to be sure. So all of these resources that I'm popping out, all of these are the ones that you collect. And you do, just like Dwellings of Eldervale, you have resource maximums that you need to abide by, which means, you can't just keep hoarding stuff. You do need to, like, use what you've got to go after certain enchantments or, pay for some other stuff as needed. But it's definitely satisfying when you have those legit pieces in front of you. Absolutely satisfying. There we go. I think that's all of them. Oh, and that's the only one out of the whole thing that I popped out that stayed at that one spot. So I don't need these. Those would have been the ones for the cards. It does make me happy that they do have baggies for everything, but I missed them at first. But yeah, so this is Flamecraft. I've got a first impressions if you want to go over and check that out. If you have any questions about the game, let me know. But, I'm just trying to truck through some unboxings here so I can get all this shrink wrap, all this box fart, all this stuff out of the way and get started playing some games. I don't like games in shrink because it means that I'm less likely to get them to the table. So the more I open up, the more I can play. Maybe. There's some probably non-logic in there, but that's what I'm saying to my brain. That was supposed to be a clever spin, and then I realized this is not the table for it, and this is like a heavier thing that doesn't spin well on one axis. I'm an idiot. Timestamp. But I already knew that. I already knew I was an idiot. So, alright. Let's keep going. See ya.